In risk management, resilience is no longer just a recovery plan, it's a leadership philosophy. The question isn't can we prevent every disruption? It's can we continue, recover, and adapt when disruption strikes? That's the essence of resiliency and continuity. Organizations today face a world where interruptions are inevitable. Could be cyber attack, climate events, supply chain collapse, or systemic failures. The difference between organizations that survive and those that stumble lies in one word: preparedness. And preparedness isn't measured in promise, it's measured in indicators and objectives that define our ability to absorb shock and bounce back stronger. In risk management, resilience isn't just a recovery plan, it's a leadership mindset. The question is can we avoid disruption? No. It's can we continue, recover, and adapt when disruption hits? Business continuity indicator measures our readiness. Key resilience indicator show how fast we can adapt. MTTR tells us how quickly we recover. MTTF, it's about how long systems last before failure. RTO defines how long can we be down, and RPO how much data we can lose. And systemic risk reminds us that in an interconnected world, one failure can trigger many. True resilience isn't tested by crisis. It's built through governance, designed by operation, and proven in recovery. Because in the end, continuity is the promise and resilience is the proof. Welcome to this series on taxonomy. We are now in part 5 of risk management, resilience and continuity. This is our agenda for the complete series, and for this video the agenda is as shown. So welcome board. This is your host Savit Vittal Salian. Namaskar. Business continuity indicator. It's a metrics that measures the readiness and effectiveness of business continuity management. Example, percentage of critical processes with tested continuity plan in the last 12 months. Business continuity indicator can be used to track continuity preparedness of critical functions. It could be used to measure alignment with ISO 22301 standards. It could be used to provide regulators with continuity assurance reports, or could be used to benchmark readiness across departments. So BCI tracks how well the organization is prepared to sustain critical operations during disruptions. The key resilience indicator. It's a metrics that assess an organization's ability to withstand shock and recover effectively. Example, time to restore operation to 90% capacity after outage is a good example of key resilience indicator. What we say here is my operations 90% of it would be up and running post an outage within a period time, of course. The key resilience indicator can be used to track cyber resilience after ransomware attack or monitor supply chain adaptability to any disruptions. The key resilience indicator can be used to measure resilience of financial operations or report organizations' resilience to regulator and investors. So the key resilience indicator measures the enterprise ability to withstand shocks and recover quickly, linking resilience to trust and reputation. The mean time to recover or MTTR. It's the average time taken to restore a system, service, or process after failure. Example, IT operations take 4 hours on average to restore a failed trading server. Example. So, MTTR can be used to monitor IT service recovery performances. It can be used to benchmark operational resilience of critical systems. It can be used to inform resilience KPIs for the CIO or the CTO's dashboard. Or MTTR can be used to reduce downtime costs through proactive improvements. So MTTR is about how reflects how fast critical systems or services can be restored after a disruption and directly tied to operation resilience. Connecting it, you have mean time to failure. Now, this is the average time a system or component operates before failing. Example, a UPS battery has a MTF of 18 months. So the UPS has a life of wherein for 18 months it will run in and there is a chance that it might go off. So it is between failures, between two failures, how much the system work, operate. So MTTF can be used to predict for predictive maintenance in IT and manufacturing. It can be used to assess reliability of hardware and infrastructure, or it can be used for planning for replacement cycles and managing the spare inventory. It could also be used to benchmark vendors' equipment reliability. So, MTTF indicates the reliability of an asset or systems before any failure occurs or guiding the investments in maintenance and replacement. Then we have recovery time objective. It's the maximum acceptable downtime for a system or process after a disruption. That is, core banking system has potential RTO of say 2 hours. Well, RTOs can be used to define acceptable downtimes for business critical services. It could be used to drive DRBCP investment decisions, or it could be used to align IT recovery with business impact analysis, or it could also be used for to test continuity scenarios during BCP exercises. So RTO defines the maximum acceptable downtime for critical processes, thus ensuring businesses' continuity expectations are clear. Moving on, the recovery point objective. It's the maximum acceptable data loss after disruption. Example, a payment system RPO could be 15 minutes. A transaction cannot be lost beyond that. So an RPO can be used to design backup strategies, or it could be used to select disaster recovery technologies. An RPO could be used to ensure regulatory compliance for financial data integrity, or it could be used to communicate data loss tolerance to business stakeholders. So, an RPO defines how much data loss is acceptable after a disruption, critical for protecting the financial and the customer's data. Systemic risk. It's a risk of a widespread failure across interconnected systems or institutions, leading to a systemic disruption. Example, global stock market disruption caused by cascading failures in interconnected trading platforms. So, systemic risk can be used to monitor ecosystem interdependencies. It could be used to conduct systemic risk testing, stress testing, or it could be used to assess concentration risk in supply chains or IT providers, or it could be used to report systemic vulnerabilities to regulators. So, systemic risk highlights vulnerabilities where failures can cascade across industries, markets, or ecosystems, thus requiring sector wide resilience planning. So, summarizing, let's start with Business Continuity Indicator or BCI. These are the pulse checks of readiness. They tell us how prepared critical processes are to continue before or during a crisis. A tested plan, a rehearsed team, a reliable backup, that's continuity in motion. Then we have key resilience indicator. They go beyond response, measuring adaptability, agility, and endurance. They show not just how we survive disruption, but how we evolve from it. MTTR or mean time to recover reflects how quickly systems of service bounce back after a failure. It's a measure of responsiveness. The shorter the MTTR, the stronger the resilience. The MTTF or mean time to failure flips the lens. It tells you how long our system can operate before breaking down. For the organization, it's a sign of reliability, investment quality, and operational maturity. Then comes the twin anchor of continuity, RTO and RPO. The RTO, recovery time objective, defines how long we can afford to be down, and RPO or the recovery point objective defines how much data we can afford to lose. Together, they translate technical disruption into business language, time and loss. At the highest level sits the systemic risk. It's the reality that in an interconnected world, no organization fails alone. When one critical node collapses, whether a cloud provider or a payment system or a power grid, the impact ripples across economies. That's why resilience isn't a department, it's an ecosystem. So, at the organizational level, resiliency and continuity aren't just about surviving, they are about sustaining trust, reputation, and relevance. They turn unpredictability into preparedness and chaos into controlled responses. Because true resilience isn't built in crisis, it's built in governance, tested in operations, and proven in recovery. In the end, continuity is the promise and resilience is the proof of that promise. With this, we have come to the end of part 5. We are on track of our original agenda. The next topic that we are going to pick is risk governance and reporting aspect. Here, I'd like to thank you for the time that you have invested. This is your host, Savit Vittal Salian. See you in part 6. Namaskar.